Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Rambling Through Everyday Life with Fran and Angela. My name is Fran and I am one of the co-hosts for this podcast. We're so glad that you're with us this week. We talk about everything from refrigerators to Jesus and everything in between. Such an encouraging conversation. It really, really is, I promise. All right, thanks for listening. Enjoy the show. Okay, hi everyone. Today's podcast is brought to you by Tropical Smoothie Cafe because I went through there and got a kid's meal.
Isn't that the best portion control ever? Because it's fun. It's perfect size.
Yeah.
It's cheaper.
It's cheaper. And I love their chia oatmeal pudding bowl.
I've never had that.
It's so good. And then it's like my favorite. I get it every time.
What's in it?
I don't know.
Chia, oatmeal, and pudding?
Bananas, blueberries, granola.
Yum.
It's so good. But I didn't have time to fool with that bowl today, so I just got the kids' turkey cheddar wrap with baked lays and a Jetty Junior smoothie.
Oh,
and
I love the Jetty Junior.
It's the perfect size.
It's so cute.
So I've inhaled my food, and now I'm drinking this, and I'm going to take a couple of vitamins. So,
this is Fran having her best day
listen,
ever,
people,
ladies and gentlemen.
People.
And you've got on a beautiful red color. You don't wear that color very often.
Because I typically am a neutral girl.
I love it.
Bought a refrigerator today. We've already talked about that.
Well, the people need to know. Fran
Listen.
bought do y'all know about refrigerators in this new year? Is this the 2025 state of the refrigerators? Why do things have to change? My comment to you was they add all these technology things so that we need a repairman every 6 months instead of just making it. I went back to, with our washer and dryer, we have this, I think it's called Speed Queen. Because it's like the old industrial, but it's like the old Maytag, heavy duty, what my mama had,
right? That lasted forever,
and they've been the best washer and dryer. We had all the new fancy buttons and whistles. And no, thank you.
Well, and this I was telling you, this is strange. So y'all can picture this. That okay, so we move. I'm going on a mission trip the 1st through the 7th, so I'll be out of town.
Okay, hang on. This releases Monday, March the 3rd. You're gone this whole week.
Yes, I'm gone the whole week, and then we get back, and then bam, we're moving.
That's insane.
So
you're having a closing at my office.
I know, and I'm so excited about that. And so the fence, the supplies have been delivered. Hopefully they're starting the fence process today. We've bought furniture, and so today we had to go get a refrigerator because this local place, Kaufman's, if you all are local, they have the dimensions of our refrigerator to where it can fit in its casing properly.
Y'all, that's a whole ordeal.
It is. It's a whole ordeal. And so we had I was hoping that she would say, here's your 3 options. No, I had 14 options, and I was like,
how complicated is this?
For real. And we're also at a point in our life, not that refrigerators care, but it's not stocked full of food anymore.
No.
So I don't care about the freezer size. It doesn't matter to us anymore.
You're not feeding 3 teenage boys.
Nope. But what they've done with these new refrigerators is, you know how we prefer to walk up to the outside of the door and just hit our cup and it fills up ice and water and all that kind of stuff. Well, there were only 2 models to choose from that I guess they're now old school. And so the water dispenser is on the inside. When you open up the door, it's in the door thing. And I was like, well, that's a hassle. Now, where am I supposed to get my ice from?
For real.
And so your ice is literally cubes in a tray, old school. And
that's what I do when my ice maker breaks.
Yes, that's right. And
I'm roughing it.
Right, exactly. And so you have to, the freezer, this is the kind of freezer that's the big, it's got the handle and you pull the whole.
Oh, like the drawer?
The drawer.
Okay.
And so there's the little ice cube box, and you've got to bend over.
This is so difficult as we're aging.
And I kind of thought about that. I was like, not that I expect this refrigerator to be around when I am
10 years from now.
Yeah, but I'm like, who wants to bend down?
You better keep doing your Pure Bar stretching.
Because you don't want to bend down and get your ice that way. You just want to put your cup up to the door and get your ice and water. So
is that too much to ask, Maytag?
Refrigerator people, that design, that whole like solid, sleek design on the outside, that's like the thing again. It's not the walk up and touch the little doohickey and there comes your ice and water. Bring that back.
Aesthetically pleasing and not practical one bit.
No.
Speaking of freezers, last night, okay, so we got home. Cole had a ball game. His church league team, it's actually a Young Life team coached by Henry Piercy. God bless Henry Piercy for pouring into these boys and coaching them. It's 10th grade.
I saw him this morning. I should have like given him a big congratulatory.
Well, they didn't win the championship.
I don't care. They made it though.
But they made it. Even though it was the D bracket, they made it.
Who cares? Nobody cares.
They made it to a championship, and y'all, it's so cute. Their Instagram is, and I'm not surprised. I'm grateful that they know how to spell this word. I should sound like I believe in them more than.
Listen, do I know how to spell this word?
Their team name. Y'all ready for this?
I'm scared.
10th grade boys.
Are you going to make me spell it?
Bad and Bougie Ballers.
Oh.
If you need some entertainment in your life and you're on Instagram, check out the Bad and Bougie Ballers, because every week they post about how they're getting hype and they will roast on each other. They'll post, here's one of them in the 4th grade looking all whatever. Cute. It's so cute.
That's fine.
Their pose last night with their consolation plaque in second place. They're just, that is 16-year-old boys.
They're the best and the worst.
Oh, yes. Well, they're so fun.
Who gets that said plaque? Where do you think that said plaque is today?
Henry Piercy should go put that in the frat house.
He should. Do you think it's in his car? Do you think it's made it out of his car?
It's probably in the floorboard.
I'm going to ask him about it.
Henry, where we're going to put this plaque.
Where are you going to put that plaque?
Because I don't know.
Coach?
The Young Life office, I don't know.
No.
It deserves to be seen and celebrated.
It does. And what time did this game take place last night? Was it early or late?
It actually, it depends on who you ask.
Us. I'm asking us.
It was late for me. However, it was not the 8 o'clock. It was actually the 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so we go to the game and we get home, and I've not seen Atlas all day, the little 5-year-old. And Atlas had a moment that was like flash forward 10 years to teenager Atlas.
Ruh-roh.
Because I'm on the couch, just, I'm watching the Tennessee men play basketball.
Yes.
I didn't have enough basketball in my life.
Yes.
So watching that game.
Because it was a little bit better.
It
maybe.
Was so good.
Better quality game.
Yeah. March Madness. I got to work on my bracket.
Right.
I got to do some research.
Right. It's coming.
It's coming. So I'm watching the game. And I hear the pitter-patter of little feet coming down the hallway. And then I hear Carl say, well, hey, Atlas. And I don't hear a word. And normally Atlas will go punch Carl and hug me. You know how boys, he wants to fight with him. And so I don't hear a word. And I turn around and I say, well, hey, Atlas, how you doing, buddy? And it's probably 8:30 at this point. And he's got a look on his face like teenager scowl.
Uh-oh.
I'm not used to moody teenagery behavior out of this sweet little 5-year-old. He's the little angel baby. He's the saving grace in my household when everything else goes off the rails.
That's right. Where's Atlas?
Usually it's, hey, honey. Also, let me back up. A week ago, Lydia said, I asked Atlas who the most beautiful girl in the world is. And he said, honey.
Listen.
Melt me into a puddle.
Yes.
And I was like, here's $20. Yeah. I love you. So fast forward to last night, and I'm just like, oh, come give me a hug. And I didn't even get that out of my mouth because I turned around and I'm like, he is standing in the light of the freezer. He has got the freezer flung open and he's staring. And he said, honey, I need to know something.
Me too, buddy.
Okay. And he picked up a pint. Cole in Oakland, his girlfriend, had gone to the Dollar General in our neighborhood about a week ago because they needed dessert. And we're not close to anything else but the Dollar General. So they went to the store and got a pint of mint chocolate chip ice cream, the best thing in all the world. So that ice cream, the leftovers are in the freezer. Well, if it tells you anything about my weight loss journey, we have trust issues with food. I've made frownies instead of brownies.
Yes.
Like nobody knows what's going to come out of my kitchen at any given moment. So Atlas has this pint of ice cream in his hand and he's looking at it with this frustrated face. And he says, honey, is this the good stuff or is this your stuff?
Well, son, actually,
I said, Atlas, that's the real deal.
Take it,
And it's
run with it.
bedtime, but you look like you need some ice
Yes.
cream. And he kind of looked at it some more. He said, I'm going to tell Mama.
Oh, that's so
And he went
darling.
running up the stairs, and I never saw him again.
Well,
So Atlas just had a bad day
Yes.
or a long day.
Yes.
He also got a haircut, and that's kind of traumatic
listen,
sometimes.
it's a lot for a little guy to go through an entire school day where you've got to cooperate, you've got to follow
Yes.
directions, get along with people, do your homework, do
Mhm.
your schoolwork, and get a haircut
You have
all
to
in
be
one day.
Perfectly still for 10 minutes
Listen.
minimum to get your haircut.
Listen, it's just brutal.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
just brutal. So God bless you, sweet little darling
sweet
Atlas.
little Atlas. It was just so cute. I was like, he looks like a brooding teenager.
Mhm.
But
Mm-hmm.
to his credit, plenty of people have been upset in my house thinking it was real ice cream and it wasn't.
Yeah.
So- we've come through the hills and the valleys.
What
but-
kind of ice cream does the Dollar General have? Is it name brand or is it like
Is it-
DG?
Is it Eddie's? The EDY?
Oh, yeah,
Isn't that real? That's
Yeah,
real.
That's real. That's legit.
That's what they had. And honestly, I've not been in the ice cream section of the Dollar General to know,
Listen,
but
I would not. I'm so weird. Like, listen, this is horrible. This is horrible.
are you an ice cream snob?
No, well, kind of, yeah. I'm a milk, and here's the thing: I don't love milk. The only time I don't even drink milk. I use milk as in cereal.
Yeah.
I don't drink it. I think it's disgusting. It's right up there with bananas. It's absolutely horrible. I'll choke
I
it
could
down.
drink it by the gallon.
Oh God, can't. I just can't. I just literally, my body cringes and dies, and I don't know why. But anyway, so I'm even the little bit of interaction. I have a tiny relationship with milk. Even that tiny relationship requires good milk. Now
Oh.
there's good milk and there's not so good
what are we
milk.
talking?
So good milk means it's come from the legit grocery store,
Okay.
and it's not off-brand. It's not the generic.
Okay.
Okay.
What percent are we talking?
Well, that's also a whole nother thing.
Are we even friends?
I know.
We've never had this conversation before.
Because if you tell me that you drink that skim watery milk, it's over. I cannot have this
I have
friendship.
very low milk standards.
Oh God, it's gray in color. It's just gray water.
but I do.
It's horrible.
I have become a Fairlife milk snob.
Yeah,
They have
okay.
good
Yeah,
chocolate milk.
they have good chocolate milk.
It's high protein.
Mhm,
It's low carb. It's good
mhm.
stuff.
Well, the other night, Sunday, we have a thing. So on Sundays, currently, our pattern is this. We have our home group at 4:00, which has currently been meeting on the campus of Union University because our current rental home cannot fit all of us in there.
They will be homeless no more.
I cannot wait. We are having our first home group the very first Sunday after we've moved in.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Okay, so we have home group at Union from 4 to 5:30. Then from 5:30 to 6:15, we go across the street to Slim. I always want to say Slim Pickens. It's Slim Chickens. Then from
They
there,
have really good salads, by the way.
then from there, I come back to Union for FCA huddle. Okay. Well, Chip has the audacity to say this before we go to home group. Okay. He goes, "Hey, on our way to home group, which is at 4, I'm going to stop and get milk for us to have later tonight." And I looked at him
It's
and I
got to
said,
sit in the car.
"Uh-huh.
Chip Thomas.
I know. I'm about to sneeze, y'all. Hang on."
Now, see, I'm surprised at this because Chip has really high standards when it comes to organization
Listen,
and cleanliness.
I don't know what people's standards are anymore because,
I would expect this out of a Snyder, but not a Thomas.
yeah, well, and I looked at him and I said, "Honey, it's going to be like in the car
It's going to be curdled.
until like
Is that the word?
6:30. That's disgusting. And it had warmed up.
Unless you buy it off the shelf in a box like they have in St.
Well,
Lucia.
that is not happening. And so he looked at me and I swear he gave me a look and rolled his eyes like that was just absurd.
Now, see, if you live in Denmark, it might make sense to save a few minutes, but Chip's passing all the grocery
Yes.
stores on his way
Yes.
home.
Okay. Well, he also knows
Come on,
that
Chip.
I have a thing about you cannot get milk from a gas station. Oh,
What?
heck no.
Really?
I think the date is wrong.
You think they're lying to us?
All of it. I think it's all a lie. And we're paying it's overpriced. And I think it's probably 2 days away from being ruined
This
milk.
is where we're like, on a scale of friend to Angela, how do you feel about that? Angela will be like, well, it expired last week, but it smells okay.
Well, oh God. So he knows that I have these weird milk issues.
You raise boys. Like, you should eat off the floor.
No, heavens, no. But so then I get home from FCA huddle, and y'all, I open up that refrigerator, and I promise you that milk came from not the grocery store. I promise it came from either the gas station or it's in a carton. It's not in
a paper carton?
Uh-huh. It's not in
Where do you find that?
At the gas station, Angela. At the gas station.
Am I even living?
It is not from the K. Roger. It is not. It is, and I'm not pouring it on my milk. I'm not a cereal. I can't even talk. I'm so worked up.
I will not drink it.
I'm not.
I will not.
I'm broken up with that carton of milk.
We need to write a Sam I Am about Fran and the milk. Speaking of gas station.
How's yours coming along?
Guess what I noticed?
The Snyder gas station.
Guess what I noticed this morning en route from Denmark, Tennessee to Jackson? Our gas station has the little things in the parking lot, like steel beams, where some gas pumps are going to one day be.
But we don't know what the name of it is.
No, and I need answers. I need to know.
Who's
Denmark?
In charge? Is this Denmark or Jackson?
Well, I think they are Jackson. They're just Denmark adjacent. You know, my granddaddy was the mayor of Denmark.
That's what I was about to say.
And my grandmother was the postmaster.
Dear Mayor of Denmark.
Robert Hardy in heaven. We need it. Granddaddy, can you send
Lord,
us?
I have a message that I need you to send to somebody.
You know, I know one day when I get to heaven, like I always say, I'm going to find that out one day. And I know when we get there, we're just going to see Jesus and fall on our faces and forget all these questions. But I also know in all of eternity. I
hope we don't, though, Angela.
Fran, you and I are going to circle back around to him. We're going to be like, okay, it's been 50 billion years, even though time is no longer a thing. But now we need some answers. We need to know what and why did you? Yeah.
Who off the top of your head right here, right now, who are the top 3 that you're like, okay, we're going to pause the worship.
I know.
Hey, I need to.
What are we going to ask first?
Who are you summoning? Are you summoning family? You're summoning your mom. You want your mom. You want to see your mom and like, oh, Mom, we got to talk about some things. Or are you going straight for the people in the Bible?
You know, I don't know.
Okay, well, me neither.
This is
I don't know.
It's going to take me a minute.
I need.
Like when people say, "Who are 3 people, dead or alive, that you would have over for dinner?" I'm like,
no,
they don't want to come eat at my house for dinner. We're going out.
Y'all know how I feel about Joshua. I want him. I'm going to summon him.
Peter, we got to talk to Peter. About some
Peter.
Things.
I don't know. Anyway, okay.
I did.
Dear Denmark Mayor Hardy in heaven.
I did. I did. I don't know if I said it on the podcast or if I've just said it to you, but part of this whole considering, like, you know, we talked last week about, you know, being more intentional and what do I want my life to be. And I feel like I'm getting good quiet time in the morning, but it's quick and it's brief and it's just the daily little devotional. And I could not figure out what I wanted to do to go deeper. I was just kind of floundering. I don't know. And then as Kaylee and I are planning her senior trip to Italy, I thought, oh my goodness, Rome. I need to study Romans because it will be so surreal being there. And then you sent me the best. I ordered that, by the way. And it was $6.99.
I know. I couldn't believe it.
It was
like from christianbooks.com.
Yes. And it was, is it JJ Packer?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Looks so good. But
I trust him.
He's trustworthy. I think Dr. Dub will approve.
If you do not approve, Dr. Dub, do not tell us.
Yeah, I don't even have it yet. So if you don't approve, you can go ahead and tell me. But independently, I texted Kaylee and I was like, hey, I figured out what I'm going to do. And Kaylee said, oh my goodness, I'm in Romans. And I never even thought about that. So anyway, it's just cool to feel like I've got a plan.
Well, listen, we all need a plan. But let me bring the conviction. Let's bring it because this is what's so great about the conversations that I've had with students this week. We're talking about our last leadership union session with Dr. Jennifer Delk. Shout out to you, Dr. Delk. And so the reason why I asked her to speak is because she, as most leaders, I'm not saying good leaders, I'm saying most leaders. The good leader part is a separate subject matter good leaders or leaders, most leaders have a high capacity to manage a lot of things. They have a lot on their plate. Managing can be good or bad. Okay. But Jennifer Delk has a lot on her plate, and she tends to all of it with such joy and grace and steadiness. I've never seen her, heard her be anything other than grace-filled.
Pleasant,
just
always pleasant.
I love her. I respect the fire
She
out of
doesn't
her.
say, I'm so busy and haggard
Yeah,
and
no,
worn. But she could.
no. And she is now serving with Birth Choice here in town as their, I'm not going to say this exactly right, but she is a, with their, well, come on, Fran, what are the words? Like their medical team, because she is she's a nurse by trade.
With the ultrasounds and the...
So she's overseeing a lot of their medical care.
Oh, that's cool.
And situations and that whole thing. But anyway, so she comes and she's drawing us back to the principles, the disciplines, the practices that regardless of what's going on in your life, regardless if you're 20, regardless if you're 55 and everything in between, this is your foundation of your life, and that should never, never change. So she started with this sentence. She said, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Mm-hmm. We talked about that sentence with these students in my one-on-ones. The best conversations about how we are meant to have our cup fill so that I have something to give you. It's filling, and then I empty it, and then because I'm giving it away, and then it gets filled back up, and then I'm pouring it back out to you. But what we do is we just give, deplete, and we're not considering not just the quality but also the quantity of this filling, because I want to give you the best. Mm-hmm. I want to give you the top of the cup, not the bottom of the cup when I am literally at the very, very end. And so talking about this with the students, we then talk about what is your relationship like with the Word and with the Lord every day. How are you engaging with Him and His Word every single day? Okay, hang with me, because this is where it got so super convicting for all of us. I am just as guilty of this, is that we will take our calendar. We kind of piggybacked off of this whole time thing that was on the conclusion of last week's episode. But we take our calendar and you plan it and you steward it, and you're not going to miss anything on your calendar, because somebody is expecting you to be there, to show up, to give them, to pour out. But I'll be dang if we'll just dismiss the Lord. We'll calendar Him. I'm giving air quotes. Like, I'm going to get up and spend, I don't know, we're going to call 10 minutes good. We're going to call 30 minutes, look at me, I'm phenomenal. And then we just leave it. Mm-hmm. We just leave Him there. And so then we started talking about how throughout the day can you get your cup filled. Somebody's filling your cup up for you throughout the day, and you may be completely oblivious to it. We should be cup fillers for other people all throughout the day, but we want to be that person too. So how do we get these moments with the Lord throughout the day? And we just had, these students are so amazing and precious and phenomenal and wise. And it was just the simple things.
What are they saying?
It was the simple things of when they're going from point A to point B, they're just acknowledging the day and just saying, thank you, Lord, for getting me to this part of my day. Or they're going back to maybe what they read or listened to in the morning, and they're doing that again to get themselves filled back up. They're choosing to be thoughtful and intentional about building Him back into the calendar of the day where He belongs, instead of just reserving Him, which is what I tend to do, way back here in the wee hours of the morning, and then I can forget about Him. And then I wonder why. Why is my cup so empty by the end of the day?
It's like He's the running soundtrack.
Yes, He should
behind
be.
everything else of our lives.
He should be. And we know that.
And
we know that. And so I say that because I was convicted of it, and I'll steward my calendar, and I'll steward this thing called time that I think is mine, and I own it, and I don't. It's a gift. It's from Him. I think I'm managing controlling all of that so very well, but I'm leaving him out of so much of my day. If I don't start these little disciplines throughout the day, these small practices throughout the day to keep my cup filled so that I feel like I'm pouring from a more full cup than an empty cup. Something that Dr. Dub has said that he does when he goes into a meeting or is making a phone call that's going to be a little bit challenging, he will always just simply ask the Lord, give me favor in this meeting.
Oh, that's good.
Give me favor.
That's so simple.
It's so simple.
But it's powerful.
But it's powerful, and it fills you back up because I feel like if we're getting to a place where we're so empty and depleted, we are being self-sufficient. We're running off of our own doings, and that is not who we were made to be.
You know what else I think, just considering all this, we've talked a lot about rhythms and patterns and not resolutions. We hate that word first of the year, but we're getting into a season where I think historically you and I love to be because the sun's out and we're walking more. And when we're walking, we're listening to podcasts or listening to worship music or listening to a sermon. And I feel like I grow. So I have a growth season in the spring. I just get into a little bit of a funky place.
Right.
It's like I don't realize how seasonally I'm affected until the sun comes back out. And then you're just like, oh my goodness. Not that I'm making excuses.
Right.
I think you're somewhere in between. I need to be disciplined and not, and then I struggle with, am I becoming legalistic with the discipline?
Right.
You know, I took my red light facial machine to New Orleans to make sure I kept my streak going and then didn't even use it the last 2 nights.
Mine is still in the box, everyone.
And that's okay. That's not sinful.
That's not sinful.
But in my brain, whenever
Right.
whatever direction I'm going in, I tend to stay in.
Right.
Whenever I end a streak of any sort, it is so, and it may be like this for everybody, but it's so hard to just start back again. So I have to just remind myself, it's always about the next right choice in everything I'm doing. If it's as silly as a facial or as serious as, and Bible study is for my good. Like, I miss that.
We put everything because we live and breathe and die by a calendar and all the things that make up our day on the calendar. And we have taken that mindset and that approach to our time with the Lord, that it is some calendared thing, which it should be. We should spend time consistently. That's the discipline part of it, whether it's morning or night, who cares? But you're every single day you're spending time with him. But what I think we're doing, all of us, everyone, is that we're just checking that thing off and we're not growing in the Lord. We're not experiencing him in the way that we should. We're just calling it good because I did X, Y, and Z. And this is not a new conversation, but because of the context of all these conversations with these students, because their time is so wild and so busy that it's the first thing to go. But I was like, I'm no different. My busy is different than your busy, but why is it so easy to meet the need of every other calendar expectation? But when it comes to first thing, last thing, and all these little moments throughout the day with the Lord, it's the easiest thing to let go of and forget about. I will not miss a lunch date.
Right.
But by golly, if I had lunch with nothing on there, maybe I could spend just 10 minutes talking to the Lord.
What are you learning from these students? Just
everything.
Lately? I know. I mean, we've covered all that, but just like I'm just so fascinated by this conversation with Jennifer Delk.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that?
The other thing that we talked about, she drew us back to our time with the Lord and the scriptures. She talked to us, she ended with rest. And I had this thought as I was talking to these students about rest. And we weren't necessarily talking about a Sabbath day, because they are in a season where they can't have that. So again, we were trying to find moments throughout the day and the week where they're building rest so that their cup is staying full. And show that. They don't get to the weekend, and it's not rest that they're experiencing. It's a crash and a recovery. That is not what the Lord wants for us. He wants rest throughout our day, throughout our week. And so just like everything else that we calendar, okay, if you're walking across campus, maybe you've got time to just sit on a bench on a pretty day and just rest for a minute, and just 10 minutes, like that fills you back up. There's some refueling that takes place there. They are very well aware of these things, and the fact that they want to wrestle it out and talk about it. And it's not so much, I want to do better. I want to make my list, my to-do list for the day longer. They just understand the heart and the soul value of going back to what we know is never changing. It doesn't, you ask a 90-year-old woman who has walked with the Lord for her whole life, and she's going to tell you this same stuff. And so just being able to be in conversation with them as they wrestle it out, because they really do want to grow in their love and affection of the Lord. So we can read whatever we want to read. We can do all the things that we want to do. But if we're not growing in our affection for Him, and then somehow adjusting and growing along the way, then what's it, then let's not just do it for the sake of doing it.
Where's my heart?
Yeah.
The condition of your heart.
Well, and a few weeks ago, I'm going to pull it up, make sure that I've got the right context because I don't have my Bible. But a couple weeks ago in our FCA lead team meeting, Sydney Whitaker read this verse over us, and this really says a lot, and it should be who we want to be. And Psalm 34:4 says, 34:4 and 5, I sought the Lord and He answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. And verse 5, those who look to Him are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame. We want to be people. I want a 20-year-old. I want us all to have faces that are radiant because we have spent time with the Lord.
I love that. That's so good. Do you want to know, podcast listeners, a trivial fact about what you're hearing right now?
Okay.
For the first time, I'm opening our outline. We have been completely off script.
Okay. Looky there, everyone. Just welcome to our natural conversation.
Now let's begin. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, we're 32 minutes in. Now we're getting started.
Okay. No, I want to, I'm just glancing over this to see what I even have in here. I saw somewhere, and I thought this morning about Angela Cottrell would be great for us to reach out to with what I'm about to say, because I'm not qualified to talk about what I'm about to talk about, but she is. But, our Jewish friends and just all the suffering and the hurt and the pain. And somebody had posted, and I saw it on social media, check on your Jewish friends. We are not okay. And I have a friend who immediately came to mind, and I sent her a message. And I just said, I'm so heartbroken about the horrific things. I'm sending you hugs and prayers. And her response just, because you expect people to say, oh, thank you for thinking of me or whatever. But she said, my hope is that you never have to experience this for yourself. Stopped me in my tracks. And I said, I just feel so helpless. If there's anything we can do to help raise awareness within our community or use our influence for greater good, we are with you. We care. Just that was the gist of our conversation. And she sent me back, do you want to have fun and celebrate Purim? March 9th at 2:00, we are baking, I will not be able to say this word, Hamanashin. Okay. Me baking anything, I don't know that she knows what she's asking me to sign up for. I would love to watch these qualified bakers bake things. And they look delicious. They're the little triangle pastries that look like they're jelly filled that you've seen in bakeries. And they're, anyway, again, I'm not qualified to say what I'm saying, but Hamanashin baking party. They're having their second annual baking party, and it says bring your apron, your rolling pin, your dough, a filling, and a smile. And y'all, I'm going to do my best. I really, really, really want to be part of this and report back to you all. So, and it even says it's an open invitation for the community, regardless of skill level.
I love it.
So I might be qualified after all, but I'm planning to go meet with our Jewish friends and learn from them, because this is all brand new to me. Probably brand new to a lot of us, but I mean, you think about Jesus growing up, doing these things that we can, it's just so beautiful. I don't even know how to put words to what I'm trying to say. But.
Well, Purim is mentioned in the book of Esther. And
that's where I've heard that.
And it's a festival. And this is, I studied it in one of Beth Moore's studies. Don't remember which one, but I remember learning that it was a festival. But this is what the old Google says. The Festival of Purim commemorates the divinely orchestrated salvation of the Jewish people in the ancient Persian Empire from Haman's plot to destroy, kill, and annihilate all the Jews, young and old, infants and women, in a single day. And it is celebrated with readings, gifts of food, charity, feasting, and merriment. So
I love that.
It begins March 13th. Begins Thursday night, March 13th, and continues through Friday, March 14th.
So they are baking the Sunday prior to prepare for the festival. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
My plan is to go, and if my plan
I hope you can.
works out, then on the next podcast recording,
That'd be so great.
I might or might not have some fun stories to
that'd
share.
be so good.
Okay. I heard another quote that really stuck with me. I wrote it down even though I did not have to, because, last recording, I told y'all lots of things that I was learning and where I'd been challenged, and how I want to just be mindful of how I'm moving through life and not just be zoned out and be more intentional. And I heard this quote. It said, "Inspiration without action will never produce change." And I just thought, well, there you go.
Yeah.
We can get inspired by all these conferences and things we read and whatever, but if we're not taking that next step, we won't change. And I've heard from at least 3 of you listening that are probably listening to this one too, regular podcast listeners, who reached out just to say, I've been listening and here's where I'm struggling, and thank y'all for being encouraging, because we hope and pray that people listening really do feel like we care and that we're right there in this journey with you, because we are. But just know that when y'all are kind enough or willing enough to take the time and reach out, like, we really do care and pray for you, and we are in this together. And one of them made the comment, she was like, y'all are like Lucy and Ethel. I can just count on you to not make
be
me
serious
feel like
and ridiculous.
Yeah. Pretty much. But she said, you make me feel like I'm normal, was kind of the gist of that.
Yeah.
So we certainly hope that comes across.
Well, and hearing you talk about that, I think that's what you just read is a non-scriptural way of reminding us of John 15:5. I'm the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. We want to be people that are bearing fruit. We don't want to be stagnant. We have to be connected. We have to be abiding. We've got to remain attached to the vine so that there's fruit that's coming out of that. We can't do that on our own. We are required. He asks us to abide in him. And I don't know. I want my life to matter. I don't want to look back even over the last however many weeks or months and be like, oh my God, what have I done? Like, we know what needs to be done. We've got to be attached to him. And otherwise, for what?
And don't make it harder than it has to be.
Right.
If you don't have time right now for a 30-minute Bible study,
absolutely,
just call on the name of Jesus.
That's
Keep
right.
him top of mind.
Right.
Let him be
read
the filter.
Read the same scripture for the next 365 days.
He is your one word, friend.
Yes, Jesus.
Jesus.
There's your word.
Jesus.
Okay, is there anything else as we wrap up?
I'm going to save the rest of it for another day.
Okay, well, there you go, everybody. The content's always there.
Who knew we'd have so much to say about refrigerators? Y'all pray for Fran on her go trip when this comes out.
Yes.
Tell us real quick what you're doing and where you're going.
This is through the university. It's a mission trip. We call them go trips. And so I will be leading a group of girls. It's a girl-only trip. I'm the only leader, so I appreciate the fact that it's a girl-only trip. But we go to Clarkston, Georgia. This is right outside of Atlanta. We will be serving refugees while we're there.
I love that.
And so last year, most of them were from Afghanistan. So I'll be curious to see if our population has changed. It will be Ramadan while we're there, so that is always fascinating to serve them and experience that part of their faith with them and learn what that's like. But anyway, so I'll be gone all of the week, and then we'll be back whenever I get back. And then I move.
And then you move, and we're going to talk all about that in between for the next podcast. And Kaylee's going to Guatemala at the same time with Filters of Hope on a mission trip. So many good. I love seeing all these college students going and serving, and I love that you get to spend time with them and lead them. And
it's fun.
It is great.
The Lord is so good, y'all.
He is so good.
Y'all have a wonderful day and week. Thanks always for listening. We'll see you next time. All right, let's not forget Psalm 34, verses 4 and 5, that says this: I sought the Lord, and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. Those who look to him are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame. I pray that your face is radiant this week as you go about your life because you have spent time with the Lord. We love you so much. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.